Hi there, guys. Here we go for corporate culture. So, this again, we're looking at the internal environment and we've spoken about what culture is, and we've just got to look at how do we actually determine if we walked into an organization, how could we determine what its culture is, and also once we've decided as a manager or as a board of directors or CEO, whatever it is, once we've decided what kind of culture we want, how do we actually influence it and change it? So first of all, let's just go through the basics. Corporate culture, the values and beliefs shared by the employees of the organisation. And that's why it's important to also employ the right people. You want to employ people not only that have the skills and knowledge to do the job, but you want people that have the actual values and beliefs that the organisation wants. And then if that all matches, they're likely to stay there a long time. So we as a society have our own culture. Organisations also have their own culture. It's exactly the same. Groups of people working together, then they've got their own shared values and beliefs, and you just want them to sort of match up so that it actually helps the organisation. You don't want someone who just values money and wants to rip people off if the organisation is about customer service. So, next slide. These are, if you were to walk into an organisation, how could you tell what type of corporate culture they had? These are some things that you can look at and use in an answer, whether that be a SAC answer or exam answer, that asks what are some indicators of corporate culture. So the overriding management style. We'll get into management styles later on, but does the manager buck orders? Or does the employee and the manager work together? That's one way of looking at the culture. How staff and management behave with each other, that's another thing. Do they actually get along, or does the boss stand there and just wander around and not talk to the employees? Standard of dress, is it casual? Is it shirt and tie? Is it a suit, whatever it is? So that's another indicator. Is it more flexible or more strict? Physical environment, the values of the organisation. Hard to exactly look at that all the time, but you might be able to, like if you're just to walk in there, but if you're working there, you'd be determining what they actually value, if it's customer service or their employees, health and safety. Any symbols, rituals, and also heroes. So rituals could be Friday night drinks together, or they go bowling together. Heroes could be an employee of the month that they celebrate. So any of those things are ways of determining indicators of what kind of corporate culture the organisation has. Now, in order to develop culture, we look at how management can develop and influence culture. Whatever the culture is, or whatever the culture that the organisation wants, it's important that the manager provides an example of that culture in action. So if it's to value customer service, then they need to be the absolute best at customer service and dealing with customers. If it's to be laid back and get along with everyone, then they need to do that. Management needs to recognise and reward the appropriate action. So that's like your positive reinforcement, where as soon as they see someone doing an employee doing or showing the values that the organisation wants, then they need to either recognise that or reward that. Management actually needs to, first of all, communicate what they're expecting. So what is the desired culture? What are we all about? What do we value as an organisation? And that should be done as soon as the employee enters the organisation, or even before part of the job interview, and say to them, well, this is what we stand for, and this is what we're expecting. Recruit employees that fit in with the desired culture. I spoke about that before. So not just choosing the best employees based on skills and abilities, but you need to choose employees based on culture. Because if you don't get along, then chances are that people aren't going to work hard. They're going to take sick days. So it's important that you recruit employees that fit in with the culture. And any training you do, it needs to be in line with your culture. So this is how you can influence it. Providing an example, recognising and rewarding the correct behaviour, communicating what's expected and what the values of the organisation are, recruit the correct employees, and train employees in line with your culture.